Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be putting to the test the new Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid Foundation. I was at the grocery store yesterday, and I'm rarely at the grocery store because I've started using Instacart where you have your groceries delivered. But yesterday I had to pick up a prescription for Paul. If you follow me on Instagram, you know the whole saga. I'll get into that in a little bit. And I walked through the makeup aisle and I'm like, I need to come into the grocery store more often because this is how I really see what is new in drugstore. I picked up two new foundations. I picked up the Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid, and I also picked up the Milani Screen Queen Natural Finish Foundation. So I'm excited to try these both. Today I decided to try the Maybelline. I don't know, it was kind of on the fence on which one I wanted to do, but I thought I would try this one first. So I do need to remove what I have on my skin now. I had a breakfast this morning, so I had to put some makeup on, and but I didn't have time to film before my breakfast because it was early and I was rushing out the door. So we're just gonna remove this, and I'll kind of give you guys an update on how our week has been. It's been a bit of a crazy week. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw a little bit of what happened this week, but okay, so I'm filming this on Thursday. Today's Thursday. On Tuesday at like 3 in the morning, I woke up because Paul was coming back from the bathroom. Like, I just kind of woke up because I heard him, and he was like, I'm really sick. My stomach really hurts and I'm sick. Stomach sick, you know what I'm talking about. And, you know, went to bed and then woke up that morning to get the kids ready for school, and Kate was saying that her stomach was hurting. So I just kind of assumed, okay, we've got the stomach bug. Paul has it, and then now Kate's about to get it. So Kate stayed home from school, Brooklyn went to school, and then a couple hours later, around 10 a.m., Paul was like he was just really sick. Every 30 or 45 minutes, he was sick, and he was saying that his stomach was in a lot of pain. And, you know, he doesn't really complain about feeling bad very often. And around 10, I think it was 10 or 10:30, he's like, will you Google like ruptured spleen or a burst appendix? And so I was like, whoa, that must be pretty bad. So I called my friend who's an ER doctor, and she's like the person I call anytime like the kid's sick or I have a question on whether I should go to the urgent care or not. And so anyway, we decided to go to the urgent care, and they sent us directly to the hospital. This is all happening, you know, while the kids are at school, or I had to have Paul's mom come pick up Kate. But anyway, we get to the hospital, and he has appendicitis, and he goes into surgery like an hour and a half later. And then we ended up staying the night in the hospital that night because his infection was pretty bad and they just wanted to monitor him. It was just crazy. He is recovering today, resting a lot. He'll be okay. I think they say it'll probably be a week of recovery, but yeah, kind of a crazy, crazy story. I had actually filmed that morning a kind of a test review on this primer here, the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, but I didn't get to film my check-ins, obviously, because I had other things taking priority that day. But kind of a crazy day. Okay, so I think I've got off all of my makeup, all of my face makeup at least. Take off my lips too. All right, I'm just gonna kind of give my skin a few seconds to dry. So next I'm applying a moisturizing SPF. Now I picked up the shade 75 Natural Beige. It looks a little yellow, honestly, but it was kind of hard in the grocery store, and I didn't want to buy 3 shades. I probably should have so I could really test, but I'm trying to be less wasteful. I mean, I'm forced to buy a lot of product for what I do here, but I'm trying to limit buying 3 foundations just for one video. So we're gonna give this one a try. We're gonna hope that it works. This foundation is described as being a hydrating foundation up to 12 hours of wear. It's supposed to give a really radiant finish. It's supposed to be very lightweight. It has hyaluronic acid in it and collagen. So I did screenshot a couple of things from the website because I don't want to leave out any important, you know, notes on it. So let me see if there's anything that I did not already cover. Okay, so it says give a radiant look for 12 hours of hydration with this liquid foundation. It comes in 20 shades on the Maybelline website. It is described as hydrating the skin, smoothing the skin while delivering a medium coverage foundation. I think that's about it. I don't see any notes on here about an SPF or sun protection, and I don't see anything on the bottle indicating there's any sun protection in this. So of course, be sure that you are getting that coverage as always from your skincare. All right, so let's go ahead and go and apply this. I'm gonna start with 1 pump. This is what the bottle looks like. I forget what I paid for it, but I will have all that information down in the description box as always. It is a nice little kind of slender glass bottle with a pump dispenser. Okay, so I pumped out 1 full pump. You can see the consistency of the foundation. It's pretty thick. There's really no movement. It's not sliding down my hand at all. It's pretty much staying in place even though I'm holding it upright. So let's go ahead and see how this applies on the skin. I'm going to grab my BK Beauty 106 brush, and I'm actually grabbing a brand new one. All right, let me actually zoom you guys in a little bit closer so you can see this on the skin as I apply it. Okay, here we go. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit with my brush, start in the center of the face. Okay, that is really nice. It looks really natural. It definitely looks like it has a radiant satin finish. It does feel lightweight, and despite the thicker texture, it does seem to sheer out and apply a pretty nice, like light to medium coverage. The color is a little dark for me, but I actually like my foundation to more so match my shoulders and my chest area. So because I wear makeup all the time and I use sun protection, my face doesn't really get much color. So my face is always gonna be lighter than my foundation typically. Typically when I put foundation on, it's slightly darker. I just don't like it to lean too yellow or too pink. I like more of a neutral tone. Start here. This does look pretty yellow to me, but it blends out nice. I do like the way that this is blending out. It kind of reminds me of some of my other favorite drugstore foundations, like the L'Oreal Fresh Wear foundation. It kind of seems to have that same like sheer, natural feeling to it, but not necessarily coverage. Like it's giving me some good coverage, not heavy at all. This doesn't look or feel heavy at all. This seems like it could be a buildable foundation, meaning that you can build it to get more coverage, but initially you're gonna get much more of a natural coverage. Whereas some foundations start off full coverage and there's really no way to avoid getting that full coverage unless you shear it out with a moisturizer mixed in. This one looks like one that you can build, so let's try to do that. Okay, I've only used about half the pump still. I still have about half the pump still here on my hand, and I do feel like I've gotten my whole face covered if I wanted just a natural application like this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I don't think you're gonna be able to get a full coverage out of this. I think this looks really nice. I think this is definitely as much coverage as I need, but I'm still seeing pink. I'm still seeing a little bit of my pink skin peeking through, and I don't really want to apply more product because I've applied, I feel like, a fair amount already. All right, yeah, I feel like I can still see a little bit of pink coming through my nose with this foundation. I think it looks nice. I don't really think that I need or want more coverage, but I can still see my skin, my true skin peeking through. Not bad, just an observation so you guys know. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in and apply my concealer, and today, I'm just gonna grab it because I have it here in front of me. I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer. And actually, you know what I'm gonna start with? I'm gonna start with the Charlotte Tilbury Color Corrector. I have the shade Fair. I have a bunch of products laid out here in front of me that I was gonna film a video on Tuesday, kind of my favorite discoveries of 2019. And I plan to film that actually today right after this video, but this is one of them. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Color Corrector. It is so nice, you guys. This can be used as a color corrector, meaning that you put concealer on top, or it could be used as a concealer. It's not necessarily a product that you have to put a concealer on top of. I really love the tone of this. If you have dark circles and you find that concealer sometimes is not enough, a nice light corrector like this is really gonna help. Also, if you're someone that likes a really bright under eye area, you like that highlight, this is a really great product for that as well. And it comes in different tones. I have the Fair #1. The more like orangey peachy shade would be really great for someone with like pretty dark under eyes that are, you know, really, really dark. All right, so I've got that there. I am gonna go ahead and apply a tad bit of the concealer on top. This concealer also is one of my favorite discoveries of 2019. It's just a very versatile concealer. It's pretty natural and light and sheer, but you can also build it to get more coverage. So I really like that. The only complaint I have is the component. It's really beautiful, but it's so messy, and the lid for me is very hard to get on and off. So I do have that complaint about it, but I'm gonna apply just a little bit of this. I'm gonna try not to do too much. And I'm gonna go in with my 106 brush again, and I'm just gonna blend that in. For my concealer, I like to use a very dense brush like this. I also love the Sigma F79 brush. That's great, and it's really got a nice point to blend that out under the eye. And I also love a beauty sponge. A beauty sponge is so great for concealer, especially if you're working with pretty thick full coverage concealers, but you really want to make sure you press so that you don't have too much concealer hanging out there. Too much concealer is never our friend. All right, so there we are. How are we thinking this foundation looks? Okay, so looking at the foundation, I think it's really nice. It's definitely radiant, not overly glowy at all. There's not any shimmer to it. It doesn't seem to be magnifying my pores, where typically really radiant foundations can do that. Now, I'm not saying that it's masking or blurring my pores either, because I can still see them. They're still there, but they don't look any more noticeable, I think, than they are naturally. It feels lightweight. It looks very pretty. The skin does look healthy and hydrated. I have some texture here in between my brows just from dry skin, and I do feel like the foundation is kind of settling a little bit there, but overall, I'm gonna say that it's nice. I am gonna set it with a little bit of powder, and then I will be right back. So the powder that I'm gonna be setting it with today is the No. 7 Lift and Illuminate powder, and it's a compact pressed powder. It does have a little bit of color, so I'm not gonna use too much of this. I'm just gonna use a little bit, and I'm just gonna kind of set it mainly in the center of the face, because this foundation isn't full coverage and I can still see my skin, especially a little bit of pinkness on my nose. Using a powder with pigment to it versus like a translucent loose powder will help give you a little bit more coverage if you need it. So that's what I'm gonna do. This powder also is one of my favorites for softening and blurring pores. It just does such a great job with that. Okay, so I'm really just gonna kind of set it under here. I do feel like this powder is a little too heavy for under the eyes, so I'm gonna go and grab a sheer translucent powder to set under the eyes. Okay, so we are back. I have set everything with powder. I haven't applied any other makeup yet. I wanted to do a check-in really quick before I get the rest of my makeup on, which I will do that off camera. So yes, the foundation looks good. I don't necessarily think that it is smoothing or softening any texture in the skin, which, you know, quite honestly, I'm kind of looking for that in foundations these days. But it's nice. It definitely is nice. It kind of reminds me of the L'Oreal Fresh Wear and also the Revlon Candid foundation. Those are two off the top of my head that I'm thinking this looks like. It doesn't quite remind me of the L'Oreal Pro Glow, because the L'Oreal Pro Glow, the consistency of that is more liquidy. And actually the Fresh Wear is kind of liquidy too. I ended up only using about half a pump. And if you remember, I was able to layer and build with that. So you don't need a full pump of this foundation, I think. I think a full pump would probably be too much. It goes a very, very long way. Despite the thick consistency, it really doesn't feel or look heavy on the skin at all. Okay, so I'm gonna go apply the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got all my makeup on. As I was doing my makeup, giving the foundation some time to set, I have some further thoughts on the way that it looks like fresh application. I don't really love it. It's not bad. I don't really know what negative things I have to say about it. It's just one of those foundations that I don't think makes my skin look great. Do you know when you have foundations that you apply and you just feel like you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, that's such an improvement? I really can't say that I get that feeling. I get that same kind of feeling from wearing this foundation. I feel like right here, like right under my, not necessarily right under my eyes, but right underneath my under eyes, right? So not under my eyes, but right underneath that, where the foundation is applied. It just looks a little heavy. I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are. I can also see around my smile lines. I feel like it already, do you see that? I feel like it's already kind of separating in that line, and it has been on for about 10 minutes and not long at all. So it's not terrible. It's not one of those foundations that I put on and I'm like, oh no, I don't like this one, but it is not something that I think improves the appearance of my skin by any means. With that said, I'm still gonna wear it today. It is currently 11:45, so I'm gonna wear it throughout the day. I will do a couple of check-ins with you guys so that you can see how it wears throughout the day, but yes, at first glance, I'm gonna say that it's not one that I love. All right, you guys, if you're curious about what I have on my makeup in terms of eyes, cheeks, and all that, I'll have everything listed and linked down below for you guys. Otherwise, I will see you guys in a couple hours. Hey friends, it is about 10 p.m. So I've been wearing the makeup for a good chunk of time. I can't remember what time I filmed it earlier today, but I wanna say it's been about 10 hours or so at least. And I have made a couple of touch-ups today, twice. I've touched up twice today. I did intend to get on around 4 o'clock and check in with you guys, but my afternoon was a little chaotic and it just completely slipped my mind. And I just got home from a photography class. So sorry I didn't get to check in with you guys sooner, but I do have some thoughts on this foundation. So I want to say when I checked in around 5 p.m., I noticed that the makeup probably looked its best right around there. It actually looked better at 5 p.m. than it did right after I applied it. I wasn't a fan of it, honestly, right after I applied it when I was filming earlier. I just thought it looked, I just felt like you could see too much of it on my face. It didn't look terrible, but it just didn't do my skin any favors. It didn't make my skin look better, in my opinion. Around 5 p.m., it looked nice. It looked as good as like any other kind of, you know, nice wearing foundation. I did touch up about 5:30 just before I walked into a photography class that I had at 6. And so this is my skin after that. So how long ago was that? That was 4.5 hours since my last touch up. I'm gonna zoom you guys. I'm actually using my phone, so I'm gonna get you guys in a little closer. It's not looking so great right now, let's be honest. Yeah, it's really not looking great at all. It is kind of gathering and moving right here on my nose. I mean, I just feel like it settles in every kind of line and pore on the face. It looks really, really kind of greasy, quite honestly. I don't even want to say dewy because it's not, it looks greasy. It looks like if I were to touch it with my hand, I would have it all over my fingertips. It's kind of hard to tell there, isn't it? But let's just say that I can tell that it's like, yeah, and granted it's 10 hours later, so what can we really expect, I guess? But I would not kind of call this foundation, I would not say this foundation is one that you can rely on wearing all day long. It was pretty humid and rainy today, so maybe that has a little bit of a role in this, but these are my thoughts after wearing this. Not a favorite, not terrible, but not a favorite, not one that I would probably recommend. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I do plan on reviewing the new Milani Screen Queen, which I have high expectations for because I think Milani has a great line of products. I love their Conceal and Perfect foundation. This looks to be much different. This shade, quite honestly, does not look like my right shade, so let's just hope. But you guys can expect a review on this coming soon. Well, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna go wash all my makeup off and brush my teeth and go to bed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this, found it helpful. Leave all your questions, comments, all that good stuff in the description box, in the comment box down below. That doesn't make sense. All products will be listed in the description box. Leave me all your questions and comments down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.